Well, Wagwado Focarinos, and welcome back to another live commentary. Today we're with the NXTGEN boys. I'm very close to finishing Season 3. I will run through current standings in around about 35 minutes, just before qualifying begins. Yeah, happy days. And yeah, I'm just going to be streaming the free practice session. And I will be back on comms just under 40 minutes. And of course, a big shout out to Lely. And an even bigger shout out to Blecky. You're welcome. So we're going to leave you with the sights and sounds of the GT3 class here at Paul Ricard for round 13. I believe they've only got 3 races left. I'll run through the standings with you shortly. As for now, I will see you soon. Ciao, ciao. There he is, the man himself, Lely, in the number 9 Bentley, driving all the way from Croatia. See the G-forces beginning to get to work there. The matte black number 9 Bentley clipping that apex. Off he goes. So, we will see you soon. Hey, guess who's back? Well, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls,
green light, go, go, go.
We are just beginning the qualifying session for Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour, and we are at round 13. Today, I think we've got 3 races left. I'm going to give you the lowdown on current standings and positions, points in the GT3 World Tour. And I would like to take this, this opportunity to say a big shout out to Lely. There he is, clipping that left apex. Lely with the chrome red and fluoro green helmet, working his magic from behind his sim rig in Croatia. And yeah, we'll jump back on to Paul the Helicam man, always drafted in to do an incredible job. And where is he? There he is. A big shout out to this dude. We've got Blecky driving the number 3 Bentley. His helmet isn't quite as substantial as Lely's. Nevertheless, here we go with the matte red number 3 Bentley, here for round 13 at Paul Ricard. And hello Micro, always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Hope you are well. Cracking race the other day. It was Lely's been playing Drift X. It pays its dues. Yeah, congratulations on your other race, P5. It was just before the race finished. Yeah, I thought if he's got one more lap, he's going to take P4 unless Tarkowski manages to hold off. But nevertheless, you got P5, and obviously you know good old Stuart in the 46 chrome orange black British liveried Bentley. I've given you the story before as to why he is a fan. And drivers, most of the drivers look like they're out on the outlap, so it's going to be 3 or 4 minutes until we see what lap times the boys are putting down. And of course, in the number 10 BMW, we have Raul with balls big enough to come back for the next race, and I'm glad he has. Cracking racer, cracking bloke, and yeah, great to see him back on board with the Next Gen boys. And of course, in the number 25 Audi, you cannot forget this dude, Sally Grace. See what time he puts down. Number 99, Hempy, first to put a lap time down of a 1:55.080. So, Kevin in the 34 Lexus, a 1.3. So, behind Hempy, and the 98 Ferrari 3.7 on his first lap time. 46, slow as F. I suppose I can swear, can't I? Slow as fuck. We'll see what he can do today at Paul Ricard. I'm just about to read the current standings, so I'll give you a better understanding as to who really needs to be putting in the most effort, and who's got the most to lose today at Paul Ricard, round 13. But before we do that, we're going to keep on board with the scores. 7 out of 16 with a lap time down. Hankin in the 44 Audi, the absolute legend from the UK, only 6/10 behind Hempy. I cannot see the scoreboard. Yeah, glad to see Raul back at it with the Next Gen boys. Cracking bunch of lads, and it's an absolute pleasure for Lucan and Hempy to be on track today, both in the Lexuses. Professor Bean in the 69 Ferrari, a 1.2 off Hempy's lap, which no one's really been able to touch as of yet. And none in 4th position. Only a 1.2. But will he do the magic Mike technique? I'm not sure. But that's a pretty solid lap time. Now in P6, Hankin in P5, Nali in the 66 Mercedes in P4, in the awesome looking GT3 Mercedes. And Jamo currently in the pits in P3, first on the 2nd row grid. And 1st row grid, currently Kobe taking the P1 spot off Hempy by 2/10. Is that Hempy following? Yes. So we've got the two at the top. Now fighting it out for pole position, both on the 1st grid as they make their way under the circuit. Paul Ricard, Sign, and maximising them track widths, ensuring they've got as much momentum as possible through this very fast, I think it's about 172 mile an hour I reached in the Ferrari the other day at the end of Paul Ricard. I'm not sure about anyone else in chat what speed you reach at the end of that straight, coming into a very fast right-hander. No Jad, yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're just being humble. Okie doke, so I have in front of me the current Next Gen GT3 Season 3 World Tour. We're currently on round 13. There's only 3 races left to go. See Kobe flashing the lights there. Kobe just running just a touch wide there, which has given Hempy the lead, as has the 66 Mercedes making his way through. Kobe now probably looks like he's making his way back into the pits, as is Hempy. And let's have a quick look. We've got most drivers now putting a lap time down. Pincher, a very, very quick dude, currently P4 in the standings with 174 points. And we see Pincher making his way up to the very fast speed trap. Magic Microbatic, 286 kilometers per hour. So I know we've got a lot of nationalities racing today from all around the world, which again is what I love about all of this. And I know a lot of these English people use miles per hour. Kilometers per hour is much better. It seems like it's so much faster, right? The numbers are so great. Much more accurate. But nevertheless, K Pincher with 174 points currently in the standings. And Kobe, now back out from the pits, is currently in P3 with 191 points. Hempy taking P1 back away from the number 7 Ferrari. He's now under heat from another Lexus. Lucan pit connoisseur. And Lucan is 7th in the leaderboards with 140 points. Hempy currently in P1 is 15th with 86 points, but also showing his pace here at Paul Ricard. The 98 Ferrari only 0.699 away from the very quick lap time, currently crowned by the 99 Lexus, yet again with a 154.585. Is 6th underneath Professor Beanflicker with 155 points, and Professor Bean with 161 points. Currently P10 at 1.2, but look how close everyone is. It's incredible. We're going to be treated to some incredible races today, especially as the rounds are coming to a close, so points must certainly matter here today. So Bean is 13 points underneath P4 of K Pincher, and Lely, I'm going to say that again, we've got the number 9 Bentley, Matt Black Bentley, Lely. And he's currently in 9th position with 118 points. Behind RV Motorsport, who appears to have not turned up for this race and last race, but that dude was quick. But nevertheless, not here today. And we've just got just over 7 minutes left to go of qualifying. Hempy still in P1, followed by Kobe, Pincher, Jamo, Professor Bean, Gnarly, Hankin, Stewart, Lucan next to Kevin in the Lexus, and Lely and Nunn now in P12. So everyone really starting to get into the flow, and we've still got 7 minutes left to go, but we've had just over an hour's worth of practice. Half of the boys on track getting into the flow early on, so we'll see whether that comes into benefit. To wait and see. So Zadig racing the 25 Audi, yellow and white liveried Audi underneath Raoul in the number 10 Bentley, and we have Sekin in the number 14 Honda. He's gone for matte blue today. Well, well, well. So Sekin with the matte blue, beautiful looking Honda GT3 on track at Paul Ricard today, and you don't really see many people choose this car. I'm not exactly sure why. Beautiful car, but nevertheless we must move on as we have just over 6 minutes left of qualifying left to go. And Nick in the 108 Bentley here for round 13 at Paul Ricard. 2.7 away from Hempy's very quick time. Quite honest with you, it's I don't know if I could even touch that. It's it really is something to say when these dudes are pulling consistent lap times, because you make one mistake and all your hard work is gone. At least some of your positions have. And yeah, I've got a mad respect for these dudes that can pull this off. But with just 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes left to go of qualifying, We've got Blecky currently a 2.9 off Hempy's 154.5. Kobe just over a tenth, Pincher just over 3/10, and Jamo in the 98 Ferrari a 333. And Hankin with a 1-1-1. Next Gen Lager a 10th, 0 and another 5 off Hankin's pace in the Audi. Not sure whether the I know they buffed the Bentley a little bit with the Seto Corsa, but I'm wondering what kind of setup and what car and what kind of GT class will favour in today's race. With 4:20 left to go, Hempy still in P1 side by side with Kobe. Pincher, very quick dude, finding his feet, only a 0.3 off Hempy's 154. We've got Pincher next to Jamo, and Hankin now in P5. 0.792 off Hempy's 154.5, but nevertheless he's moved up from P, was it 9 or 8? But Lucan in P6, Professor in P7. The Professor, you're thinking of Money Heist. Nali next door to Hukan, Lucan and Stewart in the 46 Bentley. It's just over a second off the pace here, off the 99 Lexus driven by Hempy. And Nali crossing that start finish line, can he improve on that 0.9? P8 Next Gen's Lager in P9 and 2 minutes 43 seconds left to go. Let's see exactly who is going to be knocking who off the top 6. Top 4 is my most favourite, but the 5th and 6th are just knocking off the gold, silver and bronze. I do like the Nala's Chrome Mercedes GT3. Making most of the track widths, letting it run wide, carrying the momentum, clipping the apex, clipping the exit. That's beautiful driving from the 66 Mercedes. And what a beautiful sound as well, right? Pushing for a touch too much grip there, but nevertheless coming in for a lap. 0.978 off the pace. Can he improve off the previous 154.585? We've got Kobe in the 7 Ferrari, only a 0.066 off Hempy's 154.585. And Igor, I do hope I got that right. Igor in chat's giving his respects to Blecky, rooting for Blecky in the number 3 Bentley. And Pincher still in P3. Hempy with only 19 seconds left to go. currently running a P1. Lap time. Well, with qualifying coming to an end, need to get my camera ready before it finishes. We've got NXTGEN's Lager with 205 points in the lead, NXTGEN Hankin in P2 with 202 points, Kobe with 191, Pincher 174, Professor Bean 161, Jammo 155, Hukan Lukan 140, Lely 118, V-Spec, the absolute legend 117, and Nick in the 108 Bentley with 102 points, Sakin in the beautiful matte black Honda GT3 with 101 points, followed by 95 points with Kevin, Nally with 93, Hempy with 86, Blecky with 48, and that is a run through of current standings. Sorry, I just need to take a photo. Oh. Okay, Pincher still in P3, but knocking off 2/10 of his lap time, and now bringing it to a close. We've got Hukan, Lukan, and Blecky. He's done his lap, so we've just got Hukan Lukan making the most of the 1 minute 30 left out on track. Let's see whether he can capitalise on a current P8 next to Hankin on the start grid. I think he's bringing it into the pits, so there we go. NXTGEN Lager are 1.008 off the pace. And Raul in the number 10. Who's that out on track? Looks like quite a few are out on track. Currently in P12 on the leaderboards. And start grid here at Paul Ricard. Could be 0.3 better. Well, nevertheless, mate, you're next door to some pretty fast people. Enjoy your race and enjoy the experience. What is going on here? Oh wow, it's a different set of grids. Look at that. I didn't know. Yeah, any moment now we're going to be trekked to the first green of the NXTGEN Season 3 GT3 round 13 here at Paul Ricard. 3 races left to go. And I've given you the standings and I will be referring back to them, but Hempy with a P1, 154.8, next door to Kobe, only a 0.066, and here we are. There we go, got them all in shot. So we're going to be waiting for the first green of the round 13 here at Paul Ricard for NXTGEN, and I'm going to be honest with you, I am now getting excited. Hairs are beginning to stand on end as all drivers now begin to start their engines, making their final adjustments here for round 13, and my god, do points matter. Let's hope we have no incidents today. Fingers crossed, but I'm yet to see that happen in any race I've commentated for, so God bless those involved. But nevertheless, 2 minutes left to session start. Micro with a shout out to Raul, currently right behind There you are. 46 Bentley ahead of the newcomer to the Next Gen series, Raul. And again, I do hope I'm pronouncing that right, but nevertheless, that's what you're going to be called for now. And on board with Stewart, and you can see on his dash, look, the BMW of Raul. Chasing that Fanny, the number 46 Fanny. And my god, is that a fast Fanny. This dude is quick, and I've said it before, keep watching this guy on the leaderboards. He seems to be able to pull this white rabbit out of the metaphorical magical hat. But nevertheless, with 26 seconds left to go, do we say hello to Paul, the Helicam man, giving us a shot of the full Next Gen grid GT3 class. Continuing their world tour as the rest of the suspensions drop. All drivers now ready to rock and roll. We should begin to hear the growl of the close to 600 horsepower GT3 class. And Hankin making his way off, as is Pincher, Jamo, Professor. Well, I'm getting excited. We are 3 minutes, shall we say, at this speed. It's quite a long time, isn't it? 2 minutes finish, 2 minutes wait, 3 minutes till start, 3 minutes lap. But then saying that, you kind of need it really, otherwise you're worn out. But nevertheless, the boys are beginning to warm up the tyres. We've got people using different techniques, as the 46 Bentley, I know, just uses the general foot on the brake, as that also warms the tyres up as well. Although I know when I'm doing it, I'm quite aggressive with the brakes and acceleration and steering, because I want my tyres as warm as possible. I want them to that magical 27.5 degrees. Stuart, I can't back out. Now, you might think he's made a mistake there. I see why they do ghosting now. I see, they should do that when people crash as well. Are you paying attention, Assetto Corsa? Well, it's currently back behind the 66 Mercedes, and now merging into one as the 66 Mercedes gets a little bit loose. Rest of the drivers down the very long straight, 172 miles an hour and 286 kilometers per hour. Get a good shot of the Next Gen boys here, ready to go to war, ready to battle it out as they all begin to make their way under the circuit. Paul Ricard sign. Okie doke, so we are now ready for that infamous green, green, green for Next Gen's Season 3 GT3 World Tour Round 13 here at Paul Ricard. And my good God, there's most certainly no ghosting in the race for ACC. But all drivers making their way through the penultimate corner here at Paul Ricard, making their way in the Noah's Ark formation. 2 by 2 do they go. We've got Raul behind the 46 at Bentley, Sakin behind Raul, and we get the green, green, green. We've got the Lexus. Is he able to make that move? As all drivers now make their way into turn 1, Kobe looks like he's just able to take P1 away from Hempy in the 99 Lexus. Pincher in P3. Oh, the number 2 Lexus a little bit too hot. Thank God for that. Thank God it didn't take anyone else out, although I didn't think it necessarily did. But we've got Gnarly now in P4. No, we've got... Whoa, it's all kicking off. We've had an incident somewhere. That's going to have most certainly distanced the standings. Oh, my brain needs to catch up with what's just happened. So Kobe has taken the P1 spot away from Hempy. Driver's side advantage perhaps into the 172 mile an hour zone. Do they go? Kobe looks like he's made a good distance there of nearly 6/10, very closely out of the danger zone of the slipstream. We've got K Pincher hot on the heels of Hempy. Hempy was able to put a very solid lap time down. We've got Kevin in P4 in the 34 Lexus. In quick pursuit is the 98 Ferrari of Jamo. Quickly going to go to the qualifying standings soon, but from Hankin, currently 1 second behind the Ferrari. Pincher looking like he was just having to make a correction there, but has that given Kevin the run in the 34 Lexus? Kobe doing a cracking job, now making a distance of a 1.264 away from P2, and Pincher now a second away from Hempy. And now in hot pursuit is Kevin with only a 2.81. We've got Blecky in the number 3 Bentley, hot on the heels of Nally in the chrome GT3 Mercedes. Is he able to make anything happen as they make their way through a beautiful section and a very much driver orientated track? Very smooth, very camber favoured, and I'm not necessarily too sure what happened with the initial outbreak. But a none. Raul's somehow ahead of Stewart. Kevin a 0.5 away. We're going to jump on board with the 46 fast British Fanny. Look at that GT3 aerodynamics. But the question is he able to chase the newcomer down, Raul, in the number 10 BMW, the newcomer to the Next Gen series? Hankin only 2.2 off Jamo. Kevin still a 0.4. Pincher made his way 3/10 back up the road. But Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari is now 2 seconds ahead of these very quick dudes. And Hempy, of course, with the fastest lap time in qualifying session, and I perhaps even believe free practice I'd be surprised to see. Wasn't sure whether the number 44 Audi was going to make a move on the Ferrari there, but look, we've got a fight ahead of us as well. Pincher closing that gap. We've got a fight between the two Lexuses. Oh, the Delta's just deafing me out. I'm gonna. Oh my god, so the 77 Audi is actually in P2 and Hempy is in P4, followed by Jamo and Hankin. So the Delta is completely only messing me out. Hempy on the outside line. Is he able to make anything happen? Not able to get close enough to take position away from Kevin. Kevin looks like he might be able to just hold off against Hempy, but again Hempy was the fastest lap time here at season 3 round 13 at Paul Ricard. And Hankin now. Oh, the Delta's just not fast enough. Is he ahead of the Ferrari? No, so for Hankin has taken a position away from the 98 Ferrari, putting him in P5, chasing Hempy, who was in P1. So already we have had an incredible turn of events, and the backpack from Jamo, we have Anun leading. Still is the 46 Bentley in pursuit, and we have Lely chasing Lucan down. The Bentley and Lexus fighting it out for P9. But the question we have here is, are we going to see a move from the 46 Bentley anytime soon? As Paul the Helicam man chases the Bentley, who is chasing that BMW down of Raoul. We've got Britain chasing. I'm not going to say it in case I get it wrong. Let's say Scandinavia. 172 miles an hour, just touching that brakes, and none able to clip that apex. 46 Bentley a little bit wide, the gap opening up just a touch. Is he able to close it back up as they traverse their way through a section? Hempy still a 0.5. So I can confirm that the number 10 BMW of Raoul is Dutch. Look at this pack go! So moving on to the second half of the pack, with the unfortunate incident that, I'm sorry to say, seems to always occur, not with these guys but with every race I've seen. We have Gnarly 0.3 now, 0.5 away, and Kevin only 0.6 off P2, and Hankin making his way up the field, and now only 0.7 away from the qualifying leader in the number 99 Lexus. Not quite close enough yet. But we have Stewart looking like he has been able to make that move, but not quite. He's side by side, but look at the grunt of the BMW. As Stewart taking a more conservative line, and Nunn sending that BMW. I very nearly thought that the 46 Bentley had that BMW's number, but no, Anun has taken that back. The Dutch number 10 BMW driver shutting the door on the British 46 driver Stewart in his CSL Elite rig. Hankins still at 0.7. So this is the closest race. The 46 Bentley. It looks like he's got a better run. They are side by side as they make their way over the start-finish line and under the circuit. Paul Ricard. What's going to happen here as they come into the braking section? Raul on the outside line. He's got the racing line. But 46 Bentley, it looks like he's able to stick those Pirelli softs and make it happen, taking that position away from Anun in the number 10 BMW. And now Anun is hot under pressure from the pit connoisseur, the number 2 Lexus Lucan. Oh, I believe is also what's happening here. Jamo 1.2. Sakin only a 0.440 off Blecky's number 3 matte red Bentley. So we've got the red pill and the blue pill, the matte red and the matte blue pill, fighting it out for position here. And now let's see Anun behind Sakin, giving Sakin 12th position. 48 minutes left to go of the race, and we've most certainly been treated to some action. Sakin only a 0.226. Nali only a 0.2 off the Professor in P9 in the Ferrari. What a race. So next gen's Hankin a 0.3, but also under pressure from the 98 Ferrari, 0.6. Certainly got a fight here as they make their way under the circuit Paul Ricard sign and through the 172-mile-an-hour zone. And now Hankin under pressure from the Ferrari. The Lexus looks like he's able to capitalize on a 10th or 2 there. So we had Hempy in P1 with a 154.5, Kobe only a 0.066 in P2, Pincher in P3 and Jamo in P4, and we now have Kobe in P1, Pincher in P2 up a position, Kevin up 2 positions, Hempy down 3, Hankin up 2, Lucan down 5, Nali down 1, Next Gen's Lager up 3, Lely up 3, Raul down 2, Zalig racing the 25 Audi. Can't see him. Sakin up 1, Nick in the same position, and Blecky up 5. Hankins still only a 0.298, pushing his way back up the field, losing distance to the Ferrari as again they make their way under the circuit Paul Ricard sign through the speed trap, clipping that apex, and that Ferrari desperately trying to get back in the slipstream range of the number 44 Audi. Able to capitalise on the inside line there a little bit. NXTGEN Lager in P7, but also currently leading the points with 205. Hankin with 202 points in P2, currently in P5. And Kobe in P3 with 191 points, currently in P1. Pincher in P4 with 174 points, currently in P2. Professor Bean in P5 with 161 points, currently in P9. Jammer with 155 points, Hukan Luca with 140. But we most certainly got some action here, as I think we've got some side-by-side action with the Audi and the Lexus as they continue to traverse their way through circuit. Paul Ricard, the 44 Bentley, keeping as close, hot on the heels as he can to that Lexus. Not quite able to make anything happen there, but it looks like he's going to take his shot soon. Currently P2 with 202 points, 3 points behind Stewart in the 46 Bentley leading the championships. So it is on. It will be favourable for the 44 Audi to take a position, but he is under pressure from the very quick 98. Ferrari only a 1.2 now from Hankin. Hankin not quite able to close that distance, but we will keep an eye. And of course the race leader now pushing the very quick Pincher back to 3 seconds worth of speed. Of course Pincher is under pressure from Kevin in the 34 Lexus. You can just see them there in the back of the camera shot. Professor Bean doing what he does best, which is work his way back through the track, showing his driving credibility against the legend Lely in the number 9 Bentley. Only a 0.5 away, so he will be seeing Professor Bean in his rearview mirror as the Ferrari begins to close that distance. You can just see that danger radar coming into play. The Ferrari having a little look on the inside line, not quite able to make anything happen there. Professor calculating the track width, maximizing as much of the momentum as he can as they continue to make their way down the very long straight here at Paul Ricard. The question is the Ferrari able to close the distance? Clipping that apex, you can see the body roll and the suspension and the Pirelli softs go to work in that Ferrari through 170 miles an hour zone, and look how close the Professor is getting to Lely in the number 9 Bentley. Oh, we're not quite getting side by side yet, but we are gonna have a war on our hands here between the Bentley and Ferrari. Jump on board with Paul, the Helicam man, as they traverse their way through the penultimate corner here at Paul Ricard. And the Ferrari is hot on the heels of the Bentley. But let's see whether Lely can hold off the Professor. Both very quick drivers, perhaps caught up in the initial incident. We see Stewart just ahead of the camera set 1 as we continue to follow the fight between the number 9 Bentley and the number 69 Bean Flicker. But Kevin is side by side with Pincher. Pincher looking to make his move. We're on the rear camera through the spoiler. Pincher's got that momentum. He's side by side. Is he able to stick as they traverse their way through this very difficult section of Paul Ricard? The 77 Audi has made his way past the 34 Lexus. Under the Paul Ricard sign, passing the start-finish straight, heavy on the brakes. Is the Lexus able to take that position back, or is he going to play the long game perhaps and keep that pressure on Pincher in the very quick Audi GT3? He's making that move. He's side by side. Is he able to keep it stuck? Pirelli stuffs in the suspension to the maximum between the Lexus and Audi here, and it looks like the 34 Lexus has taken back that position of Pincher. And my God, have we got a fight for P2 as Kobe continues to leave the field, only a 420 away from Kevin in the 34 Lexus. And Kobe continued to do a cracking job continuing to leave the rest of the pack, and Hankin only a 0.3 behind Hempy. Will most certainly tread to some action and close quarters combat today for NXTGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour. Yeah, it didn't perhaps look as you say, but nevertheless, I can't see. We've got Kevin ahead of the Audi, but it looked like the Audi is closing. Oh, Belosa's got a bit of a line, the loose end of the Lexus, perhaps giving a better run to the the 77 Audi. And we've got a fight between Hankin and Hempy. He's made it stuck. He had to touch the brakes, but nevertheless he was there. He made it happen, and now the Lexus is hot on their heels of the 44 Audi going ultimate defensive on the right line, and he's got that slingshot, but is it enough to make anything happen? He's making his way past. It looks like Hankin is going to have to concede. No, he wants that position. No, he's going back in, clipping that apex, but is he able to make it stick as Jamo continues to watch this fight between the Audi and the Lexus, and the fight is only giving him free time between the fight for P. Oh, the 44 Audi, he's got his nose on the inside, but is he able to keep it there? He is side by side. He's made it stick, but he's going to get the cut back. That's given the 98 Ferrari a run. So we've got a three-way fight on our hands between the 44 Audi, the 99 Lexus, and the 98 Ferrari. We've got the Lexus going on the inside line, not quite able to get it there. No, he has got the front end just to the side of the Audi, but the Audi just able to run away yet again from this fight. But my God, the points on line today. So I told you we were going to be treated to some close quarters combat, and my God, are we, as Jamo continues to enjoy watching this fight up ahead. And Pincher still not able to make that position. On Hempy. Sorry, I meant Kevin. But we're back in slipstream. The 44 Audi knows that. We're side by side. The Ferrari's going to be loving this. We're hot on the heels. Oh, the Audi's got the inside line. The Lexus tread to the outside line and having to concede that position yet again. Hankin ahead of the three-way fight between the Audi, Lexus and Ferrari GT3 class as we continue the Next Gen's Season 3 GT3 World Tour. 99 Lexus is flashing the 44 Audi. Not exactly sure why, but nevertheless we're getting the flash. And Jamo now hot on the heels of the Lexus. Slipstream range, it looks like the Ferrari is going to be able to make some magic happen here. You can already see him begin to pull that Lexus in. 600 horsepower. Foot to that 4, P5 chasing P6 down into the braking section. Do they go? Just missing the apex, but the Ferrari just clipping that white line. Both drivers just managing to clip that apex. They've got a little bit more of the track limits to maximize and utilize here, but with a 3-track limit warning, you never know what we're going to be tread to. The 99 Lexus is lost control, and the 98 Ferraris unfortunately not able to get on the brakes, and I'm going to assume that is going to be some light damage there between Hempy and Jamo. And Sakin only a 0.5 away from Raul in the number 10 BMW, and the pit window now open in Lucan making his way into the pits and out of the pits. We've got Nick in the 108 Bentley beginning to make his way into the pit lane, and Kevin also making his way into the very long pit lane here at Paul Ricard, and also now exiting, and Nick just entering that pit lane. So we've had a little bit of drama. Sakin losing a couple of tenths to Anun in the number 10 BMW. 6 minutes 14 seconds of a pit window left to go. We've got 31 minutes of racing action, drama and close quarters combat left to go, and currently the fight for P9 and inboard with the Honda. Oh, Tara, bless you. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Simon! How's it going, Simon? I hope you're well. It's an absolute pleasure to see you both in here. And thank you for the like, Tara. That's extremely kind. And what have we got? 7 likes. So thank you to everyone who has liked. We've got Sakin and Anun entering the pits. Sakin taking evasive action as Professor B now only a 0.4 away from somebody. I'm sure the Delta's having a whale of a time. He's definitely not a 0.4 away. Kobe
halfway through, not over yet.
Still leading that race with just under half of the race left to go and a pit window of 4 minutes 50 seconds. So, I think Kobe's on the energy drinks today, making sure he gets on the brakes as he enters the pits here for round 13 for the GT3 World Tour at Paul Ricard, and what was that, 12-14 seconds from Hankin in current provisional P2, NXTGEN Lager in provisional P3. Chasing the 108 Bentley down, I think I saw in the shot there. I'm glad you're feeling relaxed, Simon. That's awesome to hear, mate, genuinely. That's what we want to be hearing. Kevin with a 10.444. I like the numbers. Jamo 1.8. From P7 of Kevin. We've got Hankin, Kobe in the pits, probably leaving the pits now. Stewart, the Professor, and Nali in the 66 Mercedes GT3 left to pit. Kobe now exiting the pits. Let's see where he comes out on track. Probably near no one. I see the 77 Audi of Pincher begin to make his way down that start-finish straight, so we can just see him make those corners. And Pincher is hot on the heels of Kobe. I don't know that that was necessarily 12 seconds, so I think that Pincher's made a few seconds there. It's definitely not 64. There's Kobe and there's Pincher. So the fight for P1 just got a little bit more interesting. Kobe's lost a few seconds worth of time there, but if both drivers continue to do what we've been seeing for the first half of this race, and we are rapidly closing into the last third sector of the NXTGEN Season 3 GT3 World Tour, Kobe is no worries at all. 13 seconds. 0.4 seconds, so there's a 0.4 second gap now between P1 and P2, provisional P5 and P6. How does this race compare to last night? Last night was FRL, which was the first time I commentated for those boys. Lovely set of lads, to be fair. This is for NXTGEN. Some of them race with me. Only 2 or 3. We've got Annan, the Professor, and Stuart and Hankin. Currently in provisional P1, exiting the pits. assume that's not for me. Hankin has been stung with a 30-second stop and go penalty. Currently in P3 now. Next Gen Lager in P4. P5, P6. Okay, so the delta's beginning to... I'm glad to hear the broken toe is finally healing. Yes, enjoy the shopping. Thanks again. But yes, 60-minute race, 20-minute qualifying. We're around 13. We've got 3 races left to go. And my good God, is this points is most certainly on the line as we are watching the 46 Bentley only a second down the road from the 98 Ferrari driven by Jamo. Stop and go penalty. I'm not sure what it's for. I know that exceeding track limits you get penalised for on the 4th time. And I believe if you exceed pit speed limits, so some people will be using manual because it actually gives you a quicker pit time. But obviously if you mess it up, it'll sting you with a penalty. And it appears that Hankin, we can just see Hankin enter the pits there, serving his prison sentence here at Paul Ricard. Where's that going to put the poor 44 for Audi, as all the drivers are now beginning to make their way past. And none conceding a position to second again, 3 seconds down the road. Hankin with 202 points. Have to excuse that, just catching a huge, enormous spider. So we're very quickly closing into the final quarter of this Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour here at Paul Ricard. And we have a none in P11, 2.6 behind Sakin in the matte blue Honda. And Pincher now only a 3.364 down the field from Kobe. So whether there's different tactics into play here, or whether, I'm not too sure, I just don't know, or whether Pincher was fighting it out for too long with Kevin. I'm not sure how far Kevin is behind Pincher. As they make their way through that beautiful section of S's. We can't quite see the 34 Lexus, 13 seconds down the road from the 77 Audi. And now we have Lucan hunting Lely down in the number 9 Bentley. tucking into that slipstream, following the number 9 Bentley as he continues to put all 600 plus horsepower down in the number 2 Lexus GT3. Who's going to take the inside line? Who's going to go defensive? And who is going to go on the racing line? But it looks as though Lely is just able to hold on. To that spot. He's got the inside line, but they were side by side. The number 2 Lexus making the best of his momentum, but not quite able to make it happen here. But is these next set of corners going to work in his favour? He's got the tighter line, but is he able to get the slingshot effect and continue to stay within the slipstream range of the number 9 Bentley, driven by Lely? And the pit connoisseur still hunting down, hot on the heels of the Bentley. The Bentley just able to get a little bit of a better run there as they make their way past the start-finish straight here at Paul Ricard. Both drivers looking like they're taking the racing line. Most of those track widths. Traction control just having to come into work there, losing grip over section. The number 9 Bentley gone defensive. The number 2 Lexus not quite able to just hold on, but still able to go in for the bigger save, which means that Hempy is now joining the party, and the number 14 Honda has got a drive-through penalty. I'm going to assume stop and go is for dry pit speed, and the drive-through penalty is for track limits. I might be wrong, anyone can let me know. Okay, Pincher's still 3.5 seconds away from Kobe and P1. Was 0.8, now a second. Hankin now in P13. So that stop and go penalty he has suffered dearly, and with only 18 minutes left to go, I don't think he's quite got the pace to get back up in the pack. So his ratings and second position in the current Next Gen series standings will take a hit. Next Gen Lager 3 points ahead of Hankin, currently leading the series, currently in P5, only 2 seconds behind the 98 Ferrari. And of course, you can't forget Kobe. And you can just see that Audi well out of slipstream range, but nevertheless making his way closer and closer to the number 7 Ferrari, driven by Kobe. Down the Paul Ricard start finish straight, and the Audi still within range now a 3.8, so he's lost 0.3 of a second to Kobe in P1. So that race start was most certainly very favourable for the number 7 Ferrari. his way down the very fast section of Paul Ricard, and with just over 15 minutes left to go, we are very close to bringing this round 13 to a close. Can K Pincher capitalise on his 3.8 seconds, and can he take P1? He's lost another 10th and a half to Kobe. All the sevens at the top there. Only 0.3. Now 1.3 is the new next gen driver. Make it most out on track today, I would assume, and we just have 14 minutes left to go. Next gen's lager still at 2.5 away from the Ferrari. Jamo just under a second away from Kevin in the Lexus. And a drive through for track limits for the number 2 of Hukan Lukan. So, with Kobe currently P3 in the standings with 191 points, behind Hankin with 202 and Stewart with 205. I think this is most certainly going to change up the standings for next week's race, which will be the final 2 races. And then I believe the final race is a 2-hour, 24-hour clock special. And Hankin second on the current leaderboard, 202 points. Suffering a stop and go penalty. The next gen Lager currently leading with 205 points in P5, still hunting. Jamo down 2.7 away. Jamo still at 0.9 away from Kevin. Hempy hot on the heels of Lely as they continue to battle it out, making their way down the fastest section. The Lexus making the most of that slipstream on offer from the Bentley, and that was enough to slingshot him ahead of Lely in the number 9 Bentley, meaning the Lexus taking that position away. Can he capitalise and get that position back, as the Hunter is now hunted? Well, that's the stop and go penalty being served. Oh, that was Lucan. I do apologise. Jamo still a second away from bronze. Pinching now nearly 5 seconds, so it seems that Kobe has most certainly got this track down today here at Paul Ricard for round 13 of the NXTGEN GT3 World Tour, and with just over 9 minutes left to go. The fight for P3 is very much still underway. NXTGEN Lager currently leading the NXTGEN series in P5, 3.5 seconds down the road from Jamo. So we've got Hankin making a position to P12, second and a half behind Lucan, and he is now in pursuit 4 seconds behind the number 10 BMW of Raoul. Though I can see Lely. Jamo hot on the heels now. So Jamo in the 98 Ferrari can most certainly smell blood in the water, but with only 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go, can he make that deficit just within slipstream range? Further reaches and losing a 10th down that start finish, and we can see the 46 Bentley now coming up to the fight for P3. Chasing down the Lexus with only 6.5 minutes of race time left to go. Down the home straight, sending 600 horsepower to its limits. We can see NXTGEN Lager still in pursuit of the fight for P3. So that's going to be an interesting watch, see whether he can capitalise on a position or two, which will most certainly give him a healthy standing on the leaderboards. fight between a Lexus, a Ferrari and a Bentley. Well, not quite able to make that happen yet. Four-second difference between Kobe and Pincher. A 1.333 now in the pursuit of the 34 Lexus. Just over 4 minutes of race time left to go. Hankin taking a position away from Hukan Lukan, and now a 1.6 in pursuit of Anun, the newcomer to the Next Gen series. Like the number 10 BMW giving way to the current P2 of the leaderboards with 202 points. So he's got a few positions back, so he's going to get a few more points on his name, but still P10. 19-second deficit to make up for P9 with only 3 minutes left to go. So Hankin moving his way back up to P10, salvaging some points left for the next gen season 3 GT3 World Tour. And again, with only 3 races left to go, this most certainly juggled up the leaderboards. Kobe will most certainly find his way towards the top, and Lager will still be hovering towards the top as well. Pincher with 174 points underneath Kobe with 191. And P3 and 4 are currently running P1 and 2. So Pincher is literally just behind Kobe in points, and that will separate a small bit here for the closure of round 13. Paul Ricard. Well, they're not too far behind each other after 55 minutes plus of racing here at Paul Ricard. And again, under the circuit Paul Ricard sign, do they go, clipping those apexes. It's beautiful driving there from the 34 Lexus. Let's see whether we can continue this and hold on to P3 and that bronze cup. But in current provisional P4 is the 98 Ferrari of Jamo.
Okay,
Also being chased by the 46 Bentley, but we are now on the final lap. Well, it looks as though NXTGEN Lager is going to take P5, but P3 is still up for grabs with only 0.6 of a deficit between a podium finish. But can he make that happen as the number 7 is making his way down the home straight here at Paul Ricard? Jamo continuing to close that distance between his Ferrari and the Lexus, but they are on the last laps. Lely only a 0.29 away from Hempy, maybe taking P7 away from the 99 Lexus. We must jump on board with the absolute legend, the number 7 Ferrari, Kobe, who is bringing it home. And congratulations to you, good sir. Taking home P1, Pincher with a P2 in the 77 Audi. Kevin traversing his way through the final sector here at Paul Ricard, still ahead of the 98 Ferrari. Both run incredible races. And has the Ferrari got the legs to throw it on the inside line and take that position? Kevin taking P3, Jamo with P4, NXTGEN's Lager with a firm P5, currently leading the championship, but maybe not now as Kobe's taken P1. The Professor working his way back up the leaderboard in P6. We've got Hempy next across that line. Lely 0.2 behind Hempy now as they make their way through the final corner. Here at Paul Ricard, and we can see the number 66 GT3 Mercedes next to cross that checkered flag. Hankin working his way back up to P10 after his stop and go penalty, stung with a loss here at round 13 of Paul Ricard, but nevertheless traversing his way through the final sector of Paul Ricard's circuit, taking a firm P10 is the 44 Audi. We've got Hukan Lukan taking P11, and Raul, the new NXTGEN comer, in P12 in the number 10 BMW, and Sakin making his way through the final sector, taking P13, and Nick in P14. So that brings us to a close. Congratulations to all drivers, but of course the podium winners: Kevin in the 34 Lexus, Pincher in the 77 Audi, and Kobe giving us what we all want: some donuts, celebrating a P1. And I'm most certainly going to say he is going to be happy with that one, pushing his way up to the leaderboard. And with only 2 races left to go for the NXTGEN series, we are most certainly going to be treat to some more action next week as we come to a close. Hukan Lukan still out on track next to Hankin. Where is he? So that's most certainly going to have shaken up the standings. Kobe in P3, 191 points, now taking P1. Pincher, P2, currently P4 with 174 points. Kevin in P3, currently 13th with 95 points. Jamo, P4, currently P6 with 155 points. And Hukan Lucan, 140 points, P7, P11 today. Both drivers getting in shot. Treating us to some donuts. With Paul Ricard's round 13 winner. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone that's watched. Thank you for the commentary. Thank you very much, Simon. I really appreciate those words. It's very kind of you. Appreciate your support as well, fella. And back to the pits we go.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you Saturday for the EDTM on Gran Turismo, where you will see a few familiar faces and an awesome setup. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.